It is the moment we've all been waiting for, RDL time. Again, RDLs are probably the most difficult form of deadlift to learn. I think it's one of the most difficult forms to learn because there's a lot involved. So I'm going to show you the way that I do it, and I think it helps a lot. So first of all, make sure you're doing your warm-ups and your mobility. Don't just hop right into this. Secondly, I say start with lighter weight, and then work your way up as you feel comfortable. So if you start with lighter weight, like for instance, this is 65 pounds. I typically will warm up with about 85 if I'm working up to like 135 pound or more deadlift, okay? So start with your lighter weights, and use that sort of as a warm-up set, and then go into your 3 to 4 sets of just barbell RDLs. So I'm going to show you from the two ways. I'm going to show you from the front, I'm going to show you from the back, so you have an idea of how it all looks. Something that happens a lot when we start to learn barbell deadlifts is people get super geared up and they walk up to it and they're like, how do I grab it? We haven't really talked about this yet, but I prefer just a regular overhand grip unless you're really having trouble, in which case you can use an alternating grip. So we're still gonna grab the barbell at the same point that we did with our racks, okay? So again, I like to do mine just outside of my shoulders. The biggest difference here between here and doing it from the rack is that you're gonna be a lot closer to the deadlift here, to the barbell. And so, yeah, it can be a little intimidating. Literally, you want your shins essentially on the barbell. So walk all the way up until you touch the barbell with your shins, and then you start that hinge down. And remember the 3 points, okay? The back is flat, right? Our gaze is about 45 degrees, and our knees are bent, which they can't not be here, right? And so we've been learning leg press, hinge, and hinge leg press. So when we're starting from the bottom, it's going to be a little bit more of a leg press action moving into a hinge. That hinge will sort of start to happen around the knees, the base of the knees, as you start to come up, okay? So if you have that comfort and mobility, then that barbell is going to get right on your shins. However, for a lot of us, it's going to take many years to get there. So just don't bring it right underneath the shoulders, because you still want the weight to come up the line of your body, but you can bring them over your toes or just in front of your shoes, okay? So everyone has their own little move before they start to lift the barbell, and that's totally fine, so don't feel dorky about that. I always like have this little bounce in my hips first, because I'm getting really excited. So everything engages, all right? So we start to lift the barbell, it comes up the shin, and then we do the hinge action. We're gonna take it all the way down and reset here, okay? So let it slide, hinge action down the thighs. It'll break away into our leg press. So leg press, hinge, hinge, leg press. Keeping the back nice and flat. That was a little faster than I want you to go, actually. So as we're first getting used to it, just like with our kettlebell deadlifts, you're gonna reset in between. Make sure that you do this in front of a mirror. That's the reason why. I like mirrors, not so we can see how beautiful we are, because we can see that all day long in every mirror. That's so that you can see your beautiful form, making sure it's right. So, you get set up, right? Barbell's gonna come a little bit before, sorry for that noise. Little bit above the toes, tip of the shoes. Engage everything, squeeze the glutes, come all the way up. Start to hinge, barbell comes down into that leg press motion. We're gonna reset all of the way. So we rest everything, we reset, and we engage. So I'm gonna do it from behind so you can see it from behind. Again, my feet are about hips width apart, just a little bit more. They're not necessarily as wide as a squat. So we're gonna bring that there, walk up to the bar, hips set down, just like in our mobility and in our warm-ups, okay? Everything engages, back engages. We tend to want to lift first with the upper part of the spine. You don't want that, so keep the rib cage tucked in. Everything's nice and flat. We pick it all the way up, glute squeeze. Comes down the thighs into our leg press. And again, this is gonna be the biggest movement, right? So reset the spine, coming up, and then